Hey guys, Revan here. So I've decided instead to do a reaction about the E3, to do a kind of coverage and review of the different press conferences, because doing reactions about stuff you will probably see on every media outlet and everything, and dodging all the stuff, and then would be kind of difficult for me. So instead I just look at the E3 and then kind of review it and then give you my kind of thought about it. So first off, it's the big elephant in the room. It's the EA Play press conference, which was a train wreck and a disappointment, and shows that E3 is not really a good company. Let's be honest. So first off, let's begin. Let's see how they opened their press conference. Naturally, they opened it with Battlefield 5, and it was just a coverage from about 5 minutes. Some director and some people talked about in front of the audience, with in the back, let's say the diorama, some stuff like that. They just showed images and they put it in a loop, and it was not the only one. They did it with the whole of the conference like that, with some images and in loops and like. They didn't showed a lot of gameplay, any gameplay at all. Actually, they showed just like in-game rendered stuff. I mean, if it's true gameplay or just rendered stuff, we don't actually know. And then they explained that you can move some of the weapons, some turrets, and then that you now can jump through windows and stuff and everything. I mean, for a press conference, it's kind of boring. I mean, having that in the start and then having that just 5 minutes, it's yeah. After that, they went directly into FIFA, which yeah, it's their big money maker. Let's be honest, with their with the money, the transaction to buy the Ultimate Team stuff and everything. It's one of their most rentable money maker right now. But yeah, having in the past E3s, they actually always came with their EA Sports stuff in the end or in the middle, not for an opening segment, which shows that they really hadn't much to offer for that E3, which begs the question, why did they even had a press conference? Yes, because it really wasn't anything to show. I mean, the stuff they had shown, it could have shown, they could have shown that into an update on YouTube or stuff like that. But for an E3 press conference, it's really wasn't enough, and it really shows that they just wanted to, have a press conference to apologize for their stuff and having with their past drama that happened with them on transactions about Battlefront and everything. But it also shows that they kind of knew that they hadn't a lot. That's why they took the schedule for Sunday, and yeah. I will not talk about every game they showed, because what do I need to say about Madden and everything, But yeah, and then we have they told us the name of the Star Wars game that Respawn is working on, which is Star Wars Jedi Force, which was a kind of cringe and awkward segment. Honestly, they didn't have even a title card or something like that, or a video or trailer. just a developer who talked he was sitting in the audience and they talked about it, and yeah, I don't know. I think after they shut it down, the previous studio was working on the Star Wars game, and now the other studio they give it to the other studio to finish the game, and it's just so that people would shut up, I think. So they just say, here's the name, and then you can wait. I mean, the game will come out next year, holiday 2019, and I have the feeling they are rushing it out. I don't know. Afterwards, there was for the surprise of kind of everybody, they showed up with Battlefront 2, and they showed there would be an update with General Grievous and Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think they will not do much with it. They will just push out the updates they wanted to do with the game, and then just let it die, kind of. I think that's what they will do, and then they probably will come next year with Battlefront 3, and they probably will do the same mistakes. I mean, in the state I am now, I really hate EA now. It's not even funny anymore. I don't even can do jokes anymore about that. And then we had the Andrew Wilson, who came out on stage, who talked about the recent allegation about the microtransaction, about what happened, and I thought they would kind of apologize and talk about it and stuff, and say that they did wrong, really, that they would say it, but they kind of didn't. He said about something about being fair, to give to the players their choices, the other players want to finish the game and the other one wanted to play it like that and something like that. He talked basically about nonsense and talked about and how they will continue to with their microtransaction stuff and everything. And then something awkward happened. I mean, awkward for me. They talked about their charity stuff, about they gave millions to the charity thing they have. Just after they talked about their microtransaction stuff, what happened just afterwards. So for me, it looked like they had it planned, just to make them look like they are a good company, which ironically would make them more bad as a company, to make, if they planned all this stuff. I mean, for me, it looked like they had planned to say that afterwards, and then to make them look good, that they say, even if we do microtransaction, we use that money to give to the others, which is just even if you look at the money they make, the money they give to the charity. I mean, if you're nitpicking here, it's just a fraction of that what they have. And then there were the indie companies, which is honestly one of the high points of their press conference, the indie games. So the big indie games were Unravel 2, which is and who came out that night, which was a pleasant surprise actually, because I really liked the first Unravel. It has a big heart and it looked really great for a platformer. And then the other game was Sea of Solitude, which also looks great. I mean, the trailer looked really great, and the person who the director of, I don't know anymore, it was the director after Great, really talked, really felt it was important for her, that this game is really important for her. I mean, it was a refreshing change about the other corporate stuff EA talked about. So, and then we had the big one, their last thing, BioWare's Last Hope, actually, because you know it like me, if BioWare, if this game isn't good, you know really well that EA will shut them down. So it's EA Last Hope, Anthem, and I don't know, quite have mixed feelings. I mean, the game looks good and everything, that the fly mechanism, the shooting gameplay and everything, it looks alright. But what they have shown is really not enough for my taste. I mean, they just shown actually basically combat stuff. I mean, the game has apparently you have choices to make and stuff. They didn't show the RPG aspect of the game, and what you actually can do besides of the combat. If there's stuff to collect, how the skill tree works and everything. If there is actually a skill tree, because it just talked about how you can update your stuff about your costume and everything, but your armor. But is the updating stuff, is that the skill tree? I mean, do you update your skills by updating your armor, or if there is another skills tree on the other side, to update that stuff yourself, your character, level system and everything. They didn't talk about that. They actually just talked that the game has basically been made for the players, that they want to update the game for the years to come and stuff, like Destiny and everything, and Sea of Thieves, which if you look at the recent stuff that happened with Destiny and Sea of Thieves, isn't actually the right thing to do. I mean, it's a good, they could try it, but actually the studios who tried it until now really did the right stuff, because the games who came out with that system basically were like demos or beta games without any stuff in the game in their release state. And yeah, Anthem basically had me mixed. So all in all, it was a boring press conference. It was not even boring, it was really a lack of everything. They didn't talked about the recent money transactions stuff, what happened. I mean, even if it's just a little stuff, apologizing and stuff, to the players, to their fan base. I mean, yeah. I have made a video in a couple of months where I basically started a hashtag and said stuff about how we should boycott EA, and I'm actually not changing my mind here. Guys, boycott EA. It's the only way they will understand that we aren't idiots. They probably are laughing in their quarters, in their villain headquarters, laughing about how we are just idiots, how the gamers, even after the recent events, will buy their games. They will laugh, and the real people who will buy the game, who aren't interested in the stuff, who don't look at the news and what happened and stuff, and they just look at the game because they like that game. And yeah, I understand that. I mean, for each their own. But if we would stop buying their stuff, I mean, with their current state, first off, they would understand that we as gamers, aren't mindless cheaps who would buy everything, and that their way they are going with microtransactions stuff and paying everything isn't the way to go. And with that, with boycotting EA, would probably even shut them down. I mean, it's sad to say, but a corporate like that hasn't the place in the gaming industry, and for the future it's really bad. I forgot that they also showed a new Command and Conquer, not for the PC, but a new one for the phone, Android and iOS. Which, yeah, look at the other streams and look how the people react to it. You will see what I mean, how can you think that after all these years, people who want the Command and Conquer sequel and stuff, or even reboot, want a mobile game? And it's not even a good mobile game. It's like a Clash of Clans type of game. You know, you play against the other character, and you know, it's not really. You just push the button, and then there is you can position your. It's not even a good one, like I said. So that's for that. And I think EA should just stop and fire some people. Fire Andrew Wilson. That would be. I mean, yeah. So new hashtag. Fire Andrew Wilson. Hashtag boycott EA and hashtag fire Andrew Wilson. Yeah, a bit of a lackluster for the beginning of EA, but yeah, we had a lot of trailer besides of EA who had, and it was now a lackluster for the E3. Guys, write in the comment what you think about the EA press conference. If you think it was a ride and that I am over dramatic in the stuff and I'm overreacting my stuff, and yeah, what you think basically, or if you think that I'm right and that people are right, because I'm not the only one thinking that it was a pretty lackluster press conference, that they didn't even needed to do a press conference at all with that stuff that they showed. And yes, subscribe to my channel for more reaction stuff, news, coverage about games, movie world, and everything. Revan out.